Good morning, everybody. I know this totally doesn't relate to what the rest of my video today is going to be about, but sitting down at the desk having our coffee and we discovered we have a friend sitting out in front of the shop. Look at that magnificent beast. Clearly an owl. We know that they visited us a few times in the past, but
holy smokes, it's huge.
Sitting right outside our window, yeah, and that is a monster owl. Oh, I'd go outside and get a better shot, but I don't want it to leave. Alright, well, back to the regular video then. So I came outside. I'm currently kneeling in the front yard because I wanted to try and get a better look at our owl guest, but I don't want to upset it. Such beautiful creatures. And there it goes. What an incredibly cool sight to start the day with. Feel kind of bad because, you know, normally they sleep during the day, but it wouldn't have been happy sleeping there anyway. That's pretty bright when the sun actually comes up. Alright. Well, let's get down to the basement and carry on with a garden type video, shall we? Well, and as promised, here we are back down in the dungeon. How cool was that owl, though? I really hope I got a decent shot of it before it flew away. Kind of looked like the sound of my voice startled it off, but what a great start to the day. I was really not expecting that when I looked up and over my desk and out the office window, as it were. Like, what is that? Oh my goodness, that is the biggest owl I've ever seen in my life. Wow, super impressive. So, something a little on the gardening lines today. But before I get into that, I just wanted to say thanks so much, Rev, for giving me the invite last night, and a huge thanks to Shocks for actually joining us on the live stream and trying a bit of that Rice Krispie treat. I tried to save her from that pain, but, you know, those of you who were there, you know, she said fine. She jumped on it. She had a bite and threw the rest back in the pan. If you weren't there for the live stream, check out Rev Toast TV. Look for last night's live stream. Highly entertaining. And yeah, without further ado, let's look at some plants. So those of you who are part of the PLC on G+ will have already seen pictures of my sand dollar now that I've dramatically cut her back. I'm really hoping that this is not the end of the plant, but if it is, I've got a few other seeds already popping up. Dave here is that El Oro. Obviously no peppers on it yet, but definitely coming back to life. Doing much better now that it's got drainage. I can see from a couple of the leaves here that it needs a good spray cleaning, but it seems to be doing all right. Over here looking at the yellow scorpion. Let's see, down here where we were seeing those bits of new growth. They're not massively bigger or anything, but they haven't browned off and died, so that's exciting. And here's that ahi panic that's in the Euro Grower now aquaponic garden. Lots of explosive growth coming up on here. Again, I've got those aphids setting in. Can't really shake this one over the fish tank, so I'll be looking for ladybugs and popping them on here and squishing away. Actually, let's just do that now. Squish, squish. Squish, squish. I do not want to risk anything happening to this plant now that it's coming back to life for me. So I rip a leaf off. Maybe I should just leave well enough alone. Find some ladybugs. But yeah, that ahi panic. I'm impressed. I'm excited. This was a good pepper, so if she pops for me, great. And down here, finally got a little bit of growth going on the basil. I guess the fish poop is starting to do its thing. A lot of these tomatoes still in their cups that need to be planted out. That mint is doing fantastic. You can see one of the transplanted purple basils back there in the solo cups. Oh, thinking of solo cups. Got a few things in these solo cups, or party cups or whatever. Double cups. And some of them have grown nice little roots sticking out of the bottom. So I've decided to try this semi-Kratky thing again. We've got a Grandpa's Siberian home here. It's got a few flower starts on it. It had some nice root growth on it, so I figured I'd stick it into one of these chicken buckets that doesn't want to open for me one-handed. And I've got just the bottom of that into the water. So as I understand it, most of the upper roots here, those air roots, should be okay. The water roots in the bottom should be sucking some up. If this starts to wilt over a couple of days, I'll do as Rev suggested, and I'll pour some water through the top to just kind of encourage it. Over here I've got another one of the ahi panics. This had some massive roots in the bottom of it. Comes out of the Folgers can a lot easier. So massive for around here. Anyway, and again, that's just kind of just into the water level there. I mixed up a fresh batch of nutrients, and hopefully this will work well. I had a Crimson Red and a couple other pepper varieties die off last year when I tried this, but they weren't as strong as these plants are. So I'm really hoping I'll see some positive results, because I do have, you know, quite a few other double cup setups going on here, and I would really like to be able to keep a lot of these peppers alive, you know, all year round. So if I can do that in this method, especially in either of these containers, it does pretty well, I think. I mean, there's plenty of water room in there. I can water these things, you know, once a week as compared to every day I'm down here with the eyedropper. So we'll have to see. Not putting all my eggs in one basket, as it were. As you can see here, I've still got plenty of other things that need to be planted out and about. Still not sure what's going on with this matchbox and the one in the center there. I don't remember a flower ever actually opening, but that really kind of looks like the beginning of an actual pepper. So maybe I missed it opening in all of my vigorous shaking it over the fish tank, and it got pollinated from that. I just don't know. I've got a couple more here that look like they might be starting to open up as flowers, but there are so many little starts on here. This thing's going to need a heck of a lot of fertilizer if it's going to produce even half of what it's trying for here. So the Matchbox pepper, clearly a very, very productive variety. And I think if I'm going to try any selective breeding and crosses to make a Canadian uber hot pepper, I'm going to be starting with the Matchboxes, I think, and I'll cross into that and see what we can get. The Purple Freak was an accidental freak. I really didn't intend to do that planting, it just kind of worked out. So I'm hoping if I do it intentionally, it will work out even better than, you know, accidental plantings. So look at that. Less than $2 for a living herb at the grocery. Brought it home, planted under this Mars Hydrolite, and look at her grow. Speaking of which, that sage is doing just awesome. Alright. One thing I did want to point out is that with those cuttings that I'm trying to root, I wasn't able to cut the PVC, so what I did was I grabbed some toilet paper tubes and shoved them down inside the cup to kind of just protect that root zone area. And hopefully these will all root up to be nice, big, strong sand dollar plants for me. In theory, because they're cuttings, they should be absolutely true to the genetics. No possible hybridization through the seeds and stuff. So, oh, I'm so hopeful. That plant, it makes an interesting pepper. I mean, I do think it's probably just a Brazilian starfish that got relabeled by some other company and resold. Like, it happens all the time with seed companies, so I wouldn't be at all surprised, and I certainly don't hold it against anyone. But that would definitely explain why I couldn't find any sand dollar seeds in my search for them. But yeah, this is a super quick one today. I got a whole bunch of stuff I've got to take care of, so yeah. I am still blown away by that owl this morning, though, and I'm really hoping that maybe that guy will come visit again. I hope, you know, I didn't scare it off for good. Beautiful looking creature. I've always thought owls were particularly majestic creatures. But I'm a Farley Mowat kid, grew up reading things like Owls in the Family and stuff like that, so perhaps I'm a product of my reading, who knows. Anywho, thank you all for joining me, everybody, and it is the first of the month. I do not have the fish cam video yet. Every time I've tried to edit it, it's just been... it hasn't worked out well. I'm going to keep trying, and I will try and get something up in the next week or so, but I want to make sure it's kind of worth watching. The colors do show up really well in the tank, but the whole color spectrum is weird because it's a black background. It's getting pretty much just a purple light on it. So, I mean, the gold really glows, but I've got to figure out new camera angles and stuff. So, all right, everybody, I am going to let you go. I will see you tomorrow, and don't forget, tomorrow is the Death Crispy Challenge on the RevToast TV live stream. There's going to be like 7 or 8 of these guys that are trying those ones that Alex over at Alberta Pepper made. Be sure to tune in for that. Give them some words of encouragement or a hard time in the chat or whatever. I know they love it either way. So, yeah, I will see you guys hopefully in the chat tomorrow. All right.